This series, I will be sharing a couple little tidbits, whether it's buying, selling, or investing. So here is the $1 million question or subject, which would be financial abuse and figuring a way to either get away, find a way to get an extra job, find a way to put extra money away. I have been featured in podcasts talking about this very subject because I was a victim of financial abuse and all the other abuses that come along with it. Now, number one, I think it's really important to obviously be in a safe environment, making sure that you're in a safe environment, that someone has knowledgeability of what you're going through, or journaling. I think that journaling is so important, having a journal of everything that's happening to you. If it's anything that is being said, any threats or whatever the case is important, because we bypass things. What happens is we think, oh, he was just angry, I made him mad. It's always the famous I made him mad. And I really do believe that a lot of the time we find ourselves becoming victims of these circumstances, and then they blame you because you made them mad because of what you said. And then you start to blame yourself to say, I should have known better. He was drinking. I shouldn't have said that. And I think it's really important for us to have an exit strategy, because this is only going to get worse. Now, when there is financial abuse, there's going to potentially be physical abuse. There is going to be verbal abuse. It's not just financial abuse. The financial aspect of the abuse is just a control tactic, which means that you can't go anywhere. You are basically at their mercy. Why? Because you don't have enough money to go get a place. You don't have enough money to, if you have children, where are you going to take them? Are you going back to mom and dad's house? That's always $1 million question. And you start to just ponder on a future life that has not arrived, and what does that life look like for you. And oftentimes, it's like I always say, would you rather live in a broken home or have your kids come from a broken home? And that's always really difficult. I'm not here to veer anyone in the wrong direction. I just do sit with a lot of women that find themselves in these positions. And I will say that when I was in this domestic dispute, violence, abuse, whatever you want to call it, I started to see that things weren't right. And so for me, I started to think I needed to build value within myself, right? So what did I have to do? I had to then go out and do sales, the things that I did know how to do. And then however I could, I had a small savings account that I would put a little bit of money away, because if something happened, I needed to have some kind of money to kind of back me up, whether that be to get a hotel room or to get food. I don't know. I was just thinking it ahead, like, what can I do? So fast forward to now, I don't know, 15 years later, because that was back when I was in this really very, very abusive financial situation. And this guy was very abusive in all matters. I was able to put the money away. However, now I have these vehicles, if you want to call them that, where you could actually put a little bit of money away into these policies, if you want to call them that not only have a base amount that would protect you, right? So if anything happened to you, if you came down with heart attack, stroke, or cancer, you'd have the ability to access the money while you're living, number one. And these policies actually build cash value. Now, had I have known that then, I would have put money into a policy like this. I had no idea that these things existed. I was kind of in the dark, kind of shooting in the dark. I would put like $100 away, $50 away, $150 away. And I will say that this is very vulnerable for me to share, but at the time, we were able to, so much money was coming in, but even then the control factor was there, right? So, and when I say so much money, I mean like, we had a lot of businesses where I should have been able to access more than $100 a month. It wasn't like we were living paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes these situations happen, right? Where you're like literally living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you stay at home with the kids and you're trying to figure what extra income can you create for yourself. And I would tell you that if you can create a little bit of value for yourself, definitely do that. and definitely look into putting something away for yourself in case something happened to you. Like I said, you came down with heart attack, stroke, or cancer. You know that this money is working against the S&P 500 index, number one. Number two, it's growing. So in a future, you'll have more money than if you put $100 away a month in a little savings account like I was doing. But because I didn't know better, the only thing that I knew was to put this little account together, a little savings account with my mother's information in there. Like my mom's name was on the account, because I didn't know what else I was going to do. I was completely at this person's mercy. When I finally decided to leave, I mean, when you're talking attorneys and you're fighting with someone that is, like I always say, if the person's unfair in the marriage, I promise you they're going to be unfair in the divorce. So when I decided to leave, obviously fairness was by no means on the table. And I tried to negotiate years after years to say, hey, like, nobody's going to win but the attorneys. Like, let's really like sit down. Let's have a meeting of the minds. He did not want anything to do with that. But had I have had a policy where I could have been putting money away, I was married almost 10 years. Imagine how much money I could have had to at least have some kind of, cash value in there for a future, whether that be to buy a house, whether that be to just to know that I have some kind of a backing for myself. So if you want more information on how to protect yourself, if you find yourself in a situation like this, or maybe you're not in a situation like this, I always say this: if you see a storm's coming, you wouldn't go out with flip-flops, would you? So if you want more information on how to put money away in a policy that allows you to have S&P 500 index growth and allows you to have cash value and allows you to have that exit strategy, contact me today. I've been through it, and I will tell you there is nothing worse than feeling stuck. And if you're already going to try to work things out, you might as well look at what other options you have besides, getting a job that allows you to at least start to build a little bit of income, because it doesn't get better, it only gets worse. And as you become a victim of these circumstances, you start to blame yourself. Like, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. It was my fault. He was drinking. Why would I, go up to him? I mean, there's so much blame that happens. And really, you're with an aggressor. You're with a person that doesn't value you potentially. And unfortunately, a lot of people do lose their lives with men that are aggressors. And you need to put some kind of plan in place. And I always say this too: journaling is so important, and having someone that knows what you're going through. So if something happens to you, you're protected. So that's all I got today. If you want more information on how to create this exit strategy, if you want to call it that, contact me today. I'll be happy to help you.